Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Wesley Cho.
And I'm Angela Chen. Welcome to the AAJA Voices Newscast.
We start with the elections where members will be voting on a new executive board.
That's right. You know, for the past several years, the presidential candidate has run unopposed, but this year, it's a heated contest between Neil Justin and Doris Trong.
Yes, the two have very different leadership styles, so it will be interesting to see how this plays out. Voices chatted with the candidates.
Vice President of Broadcast George Kiriyama is running for re-election. He says his campaign focuses on reaching out to the younger generation of journalists, including students and small market broadcasters. He also wants to bring attention to the lack of Asian American males in the broadcast news industry. He's also talking about launching a support group for radio broadcasters. Now, despite having no competition, Kiriyama says he's using his campaign to communicate with his members.
I didn't want this to be something like, oh, just sit back and I don't have any opponents, so I just coasted my way all the way through the election. When I was a child, my father always used to say, finish what you started. And I feel like my work it's not done yet.
Make sure to check out the AAJ Voices print edition to find out more about what Kiriyama plans to do his next term. Reporting in Los Angeles, Young Lim, AAJ Voices.
Hi, I'm Candace.
Incumbent Treasurer Candace Hackman is up for re-election, and she says she's running to continue what she started.
I was actually able to accomplish a lot in my 2 years as treasurer, especially in the last year as treasurer. So my goals are really to build on that foundation. I want to be able to work with the board and make sure that we're on this track to go forward and we don't regress. Because it's very easy for somebody else to come onto the board and just stop doing what we've been doing.
Her opponent can be found handing out campaign stickers, chocolate, and condoms. Renee Osodia wants to step up in a time of financial crisis.
AAJA has been like family to me, and I've basically devoted a third of my professional career to AAJA, so I want to continue to help the organization in whatever way I can.
AAJA is at a pivotal moment. With much of the focus on finance and innovation this year, Doris Trong and Neil Justin have stepped up as presidential candidates. Neil Justin is currently a TV and media critic at the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. Doris Trong is a multi-platform editor at the Washington Post. Both opponents told us their campaign message.
There's a lot of things that are all tied together in how we move forward as an organization, and a lot of that is going to need to be determined in the next 6 months to a year. So this is a really pivotal time for the organization, and a lot of things are bound to change, but it's not something that I as an individual can do. Sure. I'm going to need to get the help of all the membership, and we're going to look at other organizations to help us as well.
I also am running on the idea that we need to change and grow. I've been concerned in recent years that members are not informed enough about what's going on, both with programs and our finances. We went through a period where nobody really knew who our executive director was and what was going on. One of the things that I'm proposing is that all governing board and advisory board meetings be attended by a reporter.
People nationwide are split over Arizona's immigration law, but what is the Asian American response? Voices reporter Young Lim talked to people all around the country.
Asian American civil rights activists compare Arizona's Senate Bill 1070 to the 1882 Chinese Exclusion Act.
I mean, this whole idea that people have to carry registration papers with them. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what the Chinese Exclusion Act was about.
SB 1070 gives state, county, and local police the authority to question a person's immigration status.
This is a civil rights issue. Clearly, the law was intended to target immigrants, immigrant communities, and those who are perceived as being outsiders.
And that extends beyond Arizona as other states consider creating similar laws. Many Hispanic civil rights activists have spoken out about the new law, but Asian American civil rights activists say Asian Americans should care too.
A law that targets any one group on the basis of the racial minority status is something that we as Asian Americans have to stand up against.
It's a piece of legislation that criminalizes immigrants, that makes them, the objects of suspicion, and really not just immigrants, but anybody who might look like an immigrant. It's pretty clear.
But not all Asian Americans agree.
What's unconstitutional is breaking the law. You're here illegally, it's breaking the law.
Those who support SB 1070 say immigrants should earn their status and be patient.
But we had to wait. I waited for years. They should also stand in line just like we did.
Reporting in Los Angeles, Young Lim, AAJA Voices.
You will hear certain buzzwords throughout the convention this week. Reporter Van Hugh searches for meaning in today's media lingo.
Buzzwords like mojo are flying around, but it doesn't sound like we're on the same page.
Mobile journalist means you pick it up and take it with you.
Citizen journalism is something that I think of when I think of mobile journalism.
Mobile journalism means to me journalism that can be both viewed and applied on the go.
And sometimes we're not on the page at all.
Crowdsourcing, CROWSOURCING. No, I've never heard of that.
Yet, we're all still connected. But what does it mean to be a Facebook friend?
It's two people connecting on Facebook.
I'm not certain I even know all of my Facebook friends.
Somebody I am actually friends with who I'd like to have a digital friendship with as well.
The important thing, though, is that buzzwords, no matter how ambiguous, can still make us laugh.
The latest buzzword that I've been interested in is refudiate, which I think we should refudiate.
Thank you, Sarah Palin.
Tonight, we give you the second installment of our journey into LA's Asian communities. Voices reporter Wesley shows us around Chinatown.
Quality design of the exterior architecture and its attention to detail in LA's Chinatown lure millions of tourists every year. Traditional artwork, lanterns, and the great vibes also enhance the attraction of 130-year-old Chinatown.
It definitely brings me back. I was just in China about 3 months ago in Beijing, and very similar. You know, it feels a lot like
Chinatown's an interesting place. I mean, there's a lot of history here. My dad used to take me here when I was a kid because he used to buy these like 50-pound bags of rice. And this is like the only place to get it.
I'm sure everyone's had one of these before. Fortune cookies. Let's see what it says. A thrilling time in your immediate future.
Tian Jing has been working in Chinatown as a fortune teller for more than 20 years, and I asked him about my future of love. But does Tian Jing know his future? Whether you're lucky or not, LA's Chinatown is a happy place to be. Reporting from LA's Chinatown, this is Wesley Cho for AAJA Voices. You might think the days of hunting for food are over, but those LA trucks are proving otherwise. Dominic Fang shows us why the food is worth the chase.
Tortillas, barbecue pork, and dumplings don't seem to go together, but every day locals line up to order specialties from the dim sum truck, concocted by owner Alex Chu.
There's a lot of people who say, oh, I've never had dim sum before, you know, what should I try? And, you know, usually I would suggest like shumai and barbecue pork butt.
Chu serves traditional dim sum, but he also creates more daring recipes from home, such as hamburger dumplings and Peking duck tacos.
Yeah, it's delicious. Like, I go downtown to Chinatown a lot for the dim sum on weekends, and this is comparable, and it's out of a food truck, so I'm kind of impressed, actually.
Jennifer Green of the Nom Nom truck also has a menu that fuses traditional food with quirky twists.
You know, we go to where the customers are, and so that's always, you know, exciting for us that we're bringing Vietnamese food to the western side and just really just kind of, you know, getting that out there.
Green spends her days making banh mi, or Vietnamese sandwiches from old family recipes, but she also likes to experiment.
I just got 2 chicken tacos, Vietnamese chicken tacos, so, you know, it's a nice fusion dish and tastes great.
So if you're hungry on the go, head out to the food trucks for some taste bud teasers. This is Dominic Fang reporting for AAJA Voices.
You don't see a lot of Asian faces in American music, but one cafe in Little Tokyo is trying to change that. Voices reporter Lin Gui takes us center stage.
When you think of soul artists, you think of Aretha Franklin and Marvin Gaye. But up-and-coming artists like Soojin Kim, who is Korean American, are breaking out in the music world. Soojin is one of many Asian American artists who performs here at the Tuesday Night Cafe in Little Tokyo.
There's not a kind of a noticeable, long-term, widely known tradition of Asian American soul artists. I think when they try to enter into that, the general audience realm for R&B, there's sort of this automatic skepticism because they're simply just not used to
So
seeing
some
Asian
artists are
face.
using the internet as a launching pad. Take Darwin. He has thousands of fans on Twitter, MySpace, and Facebook.
The internet has empowered
indie musicians and also democratize the playing field?
I think it's really about exposing people to different things, like Asians singing R&B and soul and doing hip-hop, and it's just exposure, really. And if I can contribute to that in any way that I can, then I'm going to do it.
For AAJA Voices in Los Angeles, I'm Lynn Guay.
And that's it for our newscast tonight. I'm Wesley Cho.
And I'm Angela Chen. Thanks for watching and have a good night.